filled it up some. Girls, how you doing? So try not to freak out, okay? Oh yeah, just mud daubers.
But I was checking both the water traps, and that was the last one I checked, and I saw bees everywhere.
They were landing on the melon?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me find one more frame and then we'll go down there. Good morning. So, if you're not already aware, I am a beekeeper. I honestly haven't spent much time being a beekeeper this year. It's been more of a bee haver year for me. It's actually quite early in the morning. I'm still in my slippers, but my daughter saw a swarm on the lane, so we gotta get it. I think I see them. Oh, they're little. Hey, girls.
Is the queen on there?
She very well might be. She also they might not have one. They're kind of small. They are. I'm just gonna set them down right here, nice and gently.
Are they gonna get squished?
They'll move. That's why I'm not gonna set it down right away. Good girls.
Looks like the melon's melting.
It looks like the melon's melting, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, it does. They will not hurt you, okay? These bees are not going to be angry. So try not to freak out, okay? There's the queen. There's a queen right there. Can you see her?
Yeah.
No, that is a queen right there. She's beautiful. So they do have a queen. This is excellent.
They don't have stripes.
No, that's a pretty little blonde queen. She's beautiful. Look at her. I would love for the queen to come down into here. Sometimes smaller swarms like this won't have a queen. Some parts of a swarm can get separated, some parts of a larger swarm, and some of the bees can stay with the pheromones of the queen and not really the queen, but they do have a queen here. I just need to get her to kind of crawl down into the box, and when she does that, the rest of the bees will follow. She can fly at this point because she flies in with the rest of the swarm, so I really don't want to spook her and have her fly off somewhere else because they're going to follow her to that alternate location as well. Trying to be very gentle. I don't want to squish anybody, but especially the queen. I got him. There's a queen.
Addie told me she saw a queen.
Yep.
I said, yeah, did you? She's like,
Yep.
she said, yeah, it was long and didn't have any stripes.
Right. Yeah, this is a blonde queen. So there's a whole melon in there. There's a whole melon in there with them, but we got him. The few little stragglers that are flying around will pick up on their queen's pheromone inside the box, and they'll make it in there in due time. It's actually quite a few hours later, you probably tell, because it's a lot brighter outside and I'm fully suited up now. We saw another swarm very shortly after I shut off the camera from that first one, and I'm not really surprised. That little bitty swarm clearly wasn't the whole swarm. Usually when a swarm decides to leave a colony, about half of the colony leaves, sometimes even more than half. And bees swarm because they're kind of running out of space. It's actually sort of a good sign if bees swarm, because it means that their population is nice and big, and a big population is a good sign of healthy bees. So the bigger swarm flew out of the tree from in front of our house, over the house, over the greenhouse, and then back to the colonies, and they landed on the back of my tallest colony over here. See, there's not many of them left over here. They probably can't get into the colony from there, but these bees could have swarmed from this colony. There's a possibility that they couldn't find the home that they were looking for, so they swarmed back. They will probably swarm again. They can sometimes do practice swarms. Might have been what that was, but I really am just guessing. I have no idea. As I mentioned, I really have not been in my colonies much this season at all. I did come out to put the flow hive on this colony here. It's the same colony that had the flow hive last year. Looks like they've filled it up some. Let's check the other side. I'm actually having a hard time getting this door off, and I'm really not going to mess with it too much. But looking from this side, it doesn't look like they've done a whole bunch to these flow frames this season, which I'll say it doesn't surprise me very much, having not even checked these colonies this year. I don't even know if this colony is queen right. If a colony isn't queen right, it means that they may not have a queen, and if they don't have a queen, they're not able to build up a good enough population to fill up a box like this. There's quite a lot of activity out of this colony here. There's a little bit out of this colony next door. There's a little bee right there. This colony looks empty. So I bet you nobody's home inside of that colony. You can see kind of all of this debris right here on the landing board. The bees are very clean, and they would have cleaned this up if there was a colony occupying this box. So that box looks empty. And this is the box that I think our swarm came out of. They may decide to swarm later, and actually this box would be a perfect one for them to move into. So that's what the apiary looks like right now. Not very much activity for there being 7 colonies here. Actually, there's an 8th colony around the other side that I forgot I had. Hold on. Oh yeah, there's activity over here. I'm sorry girls, how you doing? Hi. This was a swarm that I caught earlier in the season. They look to be doing well. Their population looks good. They seem super friendly. I think if they didn't have a functioning queen, they would be trying to attack me pretty badly right now, and they're not. Look good girls. Aw. Well, darn it. They didn't stay, guys. They didn't like my box. That's okay. That happens sometimes. It's actually not the first time that I've caught a swarm that then decided that they did not want to hang out there. Wow, it's already starting to get really hot out there. So I've had a couple questions recently asking me about how the bees are doing. There's your update. It's not an excellent update. It doesn't exactly make me feel good to share that with you guys. Really though, this is kind of all right. Not that I'm condoning every beekeeper to take a year off from beekeeping when you've got bees out in your apiary. It's not probably the best thing overall, honestly, but also the bees that can survive the lack of beekeeping that they've had this year are probably going to be pretty strong. I haven't treated them for anything. this year. And so the bees that we have going into winter, I'm gonna make sure that they're good to go into winter. I may have to combine some of those boxes out there and combine a couple smaller colonies of bees. But I truly feel like even if we end up with fewer colonies at the end of the year because of my bee having instead of beekeeping this year, they're going to be probably colonies with some good genetics for being self-sufficient, for possibly being Varroa resistant. But I don't know, we're gonna have to see. If you liked watching me catch that swarm today and you like to see a little bit more of that content, I actually have a playlist up here. Most of these swarm catches are from last year. There's big swarms, there's little swarms, there's dual swarms. I actually had a really fun time catching all of those swarms last year. I always love catching swarms. There's just something magical about them. So there's a lot more swarm catches in this playlist here, and I'll see you guys again soon.